Hi, this is Peter Davis from Jigsaw Trading. What I'd like to do is give you a quick rundown of the new features we've added to version 5.2 of the Jigsaw tools. As with all our videos, you'll get the most out of this one by watching it in full HD mode and full screen mode in YouTube. Now the layout you're looking at here, it's not a recommended setup, it's just something I'm using to highlight the changes. So what we're going to look at first is the power meters, and initially we're going to focus on the depth and sales power meters. So you can see here, there's a power meter here, which is NQ. That's actually a depth and sales power meter. This one is the ES depth and sales power meter. And then these two on the right, they're both power meters linked to Recon tape. We'll actually have a look at the difference later. So first of all, with the power meters, you don't need to make them this big. You can have them as small as you want. There's actually no point in them being this big, but for the video, it kind of helps. We can rotate them vertically and horizontally, and we kind of read them left to right. So they are power meters, and we call them the three gears of the market because, as you see from left to right, they will kind of whip around at different paces, and they do mean different things. So first of all, let's take a look at the ES, and let's take a look at what we're looking at here. So we can see on the left side strength power meter, I've got 523 versus 1040, 1062 now. So the red there, they're the market sell orders, and the blue ones are the market buy orders. Okay, I've got a line in the middle there that goes across. That represents 50%. The slightly larger line is 75%, 25% here, and this one is another 12.5% increment. So what we're looking at is just trades at bid versus trades at offered. And what we will see in an up move, decent up move, we will see the trades at bid outnumbering trades at offer by, 1.5 to 2 times. Now what we can do with this meter, we can actually reset the meter here. And we can also reset the meter if we reset the current trades, and I'm going to right click reset current trades. And what we'll see is it's actually reset the current trades and reset the strength meter. I should actually call that the power meter because that's our new branding on each side. Now, why would you reset that? Well, the reason you'd reset that is if you were coming into a level that you're interested in, you might want to just focus on the way the trading's changing as it gets into that level. So if you've got this running since the open and you're at 1030, you might see 50, 60, 70, 80,000 contracts each side. As you move into a key level, you're not really going to notice the difference that much. If the difference is just changes 5 or 6,000 contracts on one side, it's not really going to be that visible if you've got all the day's history on there. So what you do is as you come to a key level, you just click the reset here, which will just reset the strength meter, or you can click the reset here, which will reset the current trades and the strength meter. Now let's look at the next one. The next one is showing bids and offers. Okay, so let's just look at the options of how that works. So I've got power meter options here. Okay, and let's just go through all of those settings right now. So the first setting, reset on new position, okay, will cause the leftmost strength meter to reset on a new position. So if I put an order in and it gets filled, that leftmost strength meter will reset. The other meters won't reset because it'd be kind of pointless. They're just showing bids and offers and pulling and stacking. There's nothing really to reset. It's not cumulative. So reset on new position, reset on closed position. Another way to look at it, active only when position is on, which means when I place a position, the meter will become active. And when I exit a position, the meter will go off. Now, the resetting and the active only when position is on, it only applies when you go from flat to having a position on. It won't reset if you add more to the position. Okay. Reset on clear current trades, that's the one that ensures when you do a reset here or here, that it actually resets your strength meter as well. So if that is off, when you do a reset here, it will not reset the strength meter. The meter types I can set here, the trades power meter, which is the left one, depth power meter, middle one, snapshot power meter, which is the rightmost one. Now, in terms of the depth power meter, really what you want to see, if the market's moving up, you want to see the bids slightly outnumbering the offers unless you're coming into an area of resistance. Now, when you come into an area of resistance, the offers are always big. So it doesn't mean that it's going to go down, it's just the way the markets work. So as you're moving up towards the level of resistance, you should see bids outweighing the offers, but it shouldn't be 80% bids, 20% offers. When you see that kind of thing, that's generally a sign that the bidders are really spoofing to try and get you to buy so that they can get out. Now, one of the things about the depth and analyzing the depth, you're really not that interested in all 20 or 10 levels or whatever your data provider gives you. You're really only interested in what's close to the market and how that's changing. So the default here is just 5 levels. So basically, if that's set to 5 levels, what we're actually going to see, we're going to see on this side, the total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. And then up here, the total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Because really that's kind of, for me, for the ES, 4 or 5 levels, that's what I'm interested in. Anything beyond that isn't really going to affect what I do in the immediate future. Snapshot power level meters, well, that's this side. So the snapshot power meter, it's actually looking at these numbers here, the pulling and the stacking. Now, a lot of people have said, you know, the pre-release users, those numbers don't add up, okay? So sure, if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of snapshot, it doesn't add up to 74. So what we do is this. On the offer side, if you are adding an order to the offer, it will go up here. But also, if you're subtracting from the bid, it also goes up here. So we say, if you're taking some off the bid or you're adding to the offer, that's bearish and it goes up here. Similarly, what we can see on the blue side here, on the bid side, is what we're taking all the positive numbers from the snapshot and adding them here, and taking the negative numbers from the offer snapshot and adding them in here too. So we're kind of trying to be a bit more intelligent and saying, okay, adding to the offer is kind of the same as subtracting from the bid. It's a kind of a bearish signal. Now what it does also, if you have a filter on there, so let's just filter that to 10 or above, a snapshot filter. Okay. What it will do is, so I've now got 10 or above, what it will do, the snapshot strength meter will only look at the filtered snapshot. It won't use all of the numbers, it just uses the filtered stuff. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just have a look at these trading options, because the trading options are now going to affect the strength meters, but it's also going to affect some of the things you see on the depth and sales itself. So close outstanding orders when a position is closed, we already had that. That's just to basically say, you know, if I've got any exit orders hanging around after I close a position, they'll be cleared. Clear current trades on new position will basically clear this column when a new position is entered. And again, that means when I go from flat to having a position on, those columns will clear. Okay. If I set it to all windows, when I put a position on the ES, it's going to also clear that column on the NQ over here. The other thing we've got is recenter on new position, which means when I enter a new position, it's going to actually recenter this dome so my trade is in the middle. Okay, and all windows again will do the same over here. Now I've got another option here, and that's for the guys. There's a lot of guys out there doing webinars using Jigsaw now, and there's a lot of guys with YouTube channels doing Jigsaw, and they're probably not very happy about putting their account number out there. I know John Grady has asked me for this quite a few times. So hide account name. If I take this off, I can see the whole account name there. If I put that on, it will hide some. So if you are doing YouTube videos and you want to show your live account, it can do that. What it doesn't do It doesn't hide it on here on this drop down. So we are going to work on that to figure out how to do that. We just couldn't get that in time for the release. Okay, so let's just take a look what happens when we clear a position. So what we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at the current trades here, and the strength meter here and the strength meter here. Okay, so let me just enter a position. This is just a sim position on the ES. Okay, and you'll see what happened is the strength meters reset, the current trades reset, and we also recentered. So now what I'm looking at on this strength meter here, I'm just looking at the order flow, the trades that came in after I entered the position. Now, of course, if there's certain items that I don't want to reset, or I just want to reset for my current instance of depth and sales and not for the other instruments, then I can set that accordingly. So what I've just shown you is the kind of the most things you can clear. Okay, and now if we look over here on the right, what we can see, we've also got a strength meter for the reconstructed tape. So I can see here, I've got a strength meter icon. Strength meter settings, okay, it's just reset on new sessions. And I just realized I'm saying strength meter still instead of power meter, so you'll have to excuse that. Now, why would you put the power meter in reconstructed tape as well as depth and sales? And the simple answer is because you can filter the reconstructed tape. So one of the things the reconstructed tape does, it will actually take all of those trades that were split by the CME. So when somebody puts in a market order for 1,000 contracts, you will not see 1,000 contracts on the regular time and sales, but you will on the reconstructed tape. So the reason we've got the power meter on the reconstructed tape is purely because you can then put filtering on, and you can actually filter for just the large trades. So you can have a strength meter, and I'll just reset that. And that strength meter now will stay empty until a trade and more than 100 contracts come in. So really, there's no difference. If you're looking at unfiltered data, there's no difference between this strength meter here and this strength meter here, which is unfiltered. The only reason really to use the strength meter on the recon tape, first of all, maybe you don't use depth and sales. Second of all, is for the filtering. Now, I have a lot of questions from people all the time, new users, saying, how do you move orders? And the way we've moved orders before is you click on the price and click on the new price. And for some reason, even though we have it in the documentation, it's just not intuitive enough, and it's not really what people are used to. So what we've actually done is put the drag and drop here. So now what I can do is just click and hold the mouse and move to a new price. That means I can actually still do the old things. So if I click once and release the mouse, I will actually be able to do things like change the quantity and cancel the order. But if I just keep the mouse down, move it somewhere else, that'll let me move the order. Now obviously what you've seen there, the order there that I was moving there or earlier on was actually an order created by an ATM strategy. Let's just do that again. Okay, so my ATM strategy created 2 exit orders. I can move those around. So it doesn't really care whether the order is created through ATMs or chart trader or whatever method. Okay, let me just pause while I switch on the histogram. Okay, so many of you know we've got some histograms here on the side. One of the problems that people had with the histograms is when we have an anomaly like this. So we've got this 933, 935 bid here. The way the histograms work is they scale according to the largest trade. So everything is now on here in proportion to this 935. And some people are saying, well, that's great until somebody's got a huge spoof order out there on a market like the crude oil where, you know, we've got 50s and 60s of each level and then there's an order there for 300 and it kind of messes up the scaling. So what we've got a histogram scaling value, and if I just put 5, let me just put 600 in there. Okay. Now what we see is everything is scaled to 600. So this 644 here is 100%. This 1000 is 100%, but everything's being scaled, relatively to 600 contracts. Okay, so that's a customer request that we did. Another request was to do with the totals at bid and totals at offer. So we've got these current trade columns in the middle, and traditionally we've been able to clear up and down those current trades columns, but we haven't been able to clear up and down the total at bid and total at ask. And I can see how that would be very useful. So what we've done, we've got the up and down arrows here, which for the current trades. We've got a new set of up and down arrows here for the current trades. So if I just click up, okay, you can see that just the outside columns are cleared. It didn't touch the current trades, just the outside columns. And we've given you a way to clear that. There are also shortcut keys to clear that, and you can edit those in the normal shortcut key editor. The other thing that people have asked for is the trade lock. Traditionally, the trade lock just locks you out from, doing anything on the depth and sales main window, but it didn't lock these buttons here. So there's some people saying that, okay, the trade lock should lock everything. So we've done that now. So the trade lock will lock all of the buttons. Another thing that people mentioned were the S to P, L to P, OCO buttons. It wasn't always really clear whether those buttons were on or not. So now we've made it so that that should be very clear whether the button is actually enabled or not. Then the only other thing we've done in this version, we do have the products for OpenECRI S5 Trader. We also have Ninja Trader, and we had two separate installers before. We had a few people running the wrong installer and calling me up and saying, man, this stuff doesn't work. So what we've actually done, we've also combined all of this into a single installer program. So it's just a one-click install, and that will install for Ninja Trader and Stage 5 Trader, OEC Trader, if you have them installed. So that's a 5.2. We've also made a number of quality improvements. There is a fixed list in the manual. Basically, there is just one issue remaining that we couldn't reproduce, and that is the one customer is getting the system hanging when he saves a display scheme. We can't reproduce that one. We're still trying, and it's not in this release. Anybody else that has reported a bug to us, that will be in this release. Please test that and get back to us if we've somehow missed an issue. I'd like to thank you all for your support, especially the guys that helped in the pre-release testing of this. Really does help our quality to get you guys to or get us to experiment on you guys before we release it. As usual, please feel free to contact us with any questions or comments, and I guess I'll see you on the 5.3 release video. Thanks.